Hello everyone, Qasim Khan is here. Please subscribe my channel and press bell button for more updates. Thank you guys for watching my video. So today we are going to learn about the very important concept in finance, that is time value of money, and this concept is also very useful in real life as well. So first of all, we will discuss why this is very important in finance. With the perspective of fund, there are two sectors exist in the economy. One is surplus, and the other one is shortage of funds. Like you can say that borrower. So the sector which have excess of money, they are called lender, and the sector which have a less shortage of funds, they have good business ideas, but they have shortage of money. That is called borrower. So surplus sector lend the money to borrower over a longer time period for like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. This is basically a long term of financing. So the lender over the time period get interest payments from the borrower as a cost of money, that is known as interest. So the lender must need to consider when they are getting the cash inflows from the borrower, and the factor they need to consider, that is time value of money. Why time of value of money they need to consider? Basically, I just give you a very simple example here. Let's suppose I visited the bank, and the bank promised with me, if you deposit 1,000 today, you will get 1,200 after 2 years. So one thing I need to consider, one factor I must need to calculate, the 1,200 which I am getting after 2 years, is that amount is worthable for me or not? Is that return is my actual return? And why I need to consider? Because value of money decline over the time period. I just gave you. There are so many factors which are affecting the value of money. I gave you just example. One of the most important is inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is the general rise in the prices of products. So when the prices of the products increases over the time period, your value of money decreases. And most of the developed countries like USA, they purposefully, intentionally indulge like 3 to 4% in the 3 to 4% inflation in their economy, just to boost the businesses. If they will not if there is no inflation in the society, it means investor, the businesses will not interest to invest in your country, and there will be no positive return for them. So inflation, when there is inflation, obviously the value of money will decline. And if we take an example of developing countries like Pakistan, here is very high inflation. And if we talk similar to the Asian countries, their inflation rates mostly fall around about 10%. So whenever we take any financing decisions, any investment decisions over a longer time period, we need to consider the value of money, because value of money will decline, decreases over the time period. If we will not consider it, ultimately maybe our return may be affected in the future. So this was overall all about, it was the intro about the time value of money. So now we will discuss in detail how we can calculate the time value of money, what kinds of factor affect the value of money. So the time value of money, the first one is the interest rate. Interest rate is a very important concept in finance. In this, we will learn what is interest rate, how we can calculate the interest rate, what are the types of interest rate, like simple interest rate. This is a very common form of interest rate, and and we will also explain why the most of the time borrower, like a borrower, this type of interest is good for the borrower. And after that, we will discuss about the compound interest, and we will also learn and discuss why compounding interest is very good for the lender and it is bad for the borrower. And we will also learn about the amortizing a loan. This is also a very important concept in finance, but we will not discuss in this video. If you are interested to know more about the amortizing, you must watch the part 2 of this video. So here is the interest rate. What is interest rate? First, we need to define interest. Interest is basically the extra amount, cost of money the borrower pay on the money financing. Obviously, nothing is free in this world. We need to pay the cost to utilize that product. So money is a very expensive kind of thing in the real life. So whenever you borrow the money from someone, you need to pay extra amount. You need to pay the some cost for the borrowing of that money. That is called basically interest. And interest is expense and the cost for the borrower. And on the other end, interest is earning income revenue for the lender. So here is a simple example. Basically, this illustration explain about the interest rate. Which would you prefer, 10,000 today or 10,000 in 5 years? This is basically a journal question and it is related to our common sense, and obviously everyone prefer 10,000 today. Why? There are some reason if we discuss with the perspective of finance. The first one is a reinvestment opportunity. That's what if I prefer a 10,000 today, I have a reinvestment opportunity. I can reinvest this 10,000 in future, and I can generate cash inflows. I can generate positive return. So this I can increase this amount. I can increase the number of this amount by reinvesting this figure. So the first one is why I prefer 10,000 today. The first purpose is your reinvestment opportunity. Secondly, when there investment, when the investments cover a longer time period, there are a risk and uncertainty exist of default risk. Most of the time, companies can get default, and there are many options. Let's suppose I'm not sure about that I will get $10,000 after 5 years. Maybe that company is unable to pay back 10,000 after 5 years. So many companies can get default. Like you can take an example of Nokia. So there is also a uncertainty and default risk exists after in the future. So obviously everyone, me included, will prefer the 10,000 today. So obviously 10,000 today, you already recognize that there is a time value to money. We already understand this concept exists. So why time? Why is time such an important element in your decisions? Yeah, time is very important. Most of the time is a very strong assumption in accounting and finance, and also in individual life as well, because we all align our life activities and business operation with perspective of time. So why we consider time in investment? The reason is that you can lend the money when you have a surplus of funds, and your surplus of funds increase with your savings. And when you postpone and delay your consumption, then you can increase your saving volume. And when you increase your saving volume, ultimately you will earn the interest with the passage of time. So when you invest the money and you delayed your consumption and earn the interest, you must need to consider about the value of money, how this factor is affecting your return. Is your returns are worthwhile for you, which you are getting after a certain time period. So time allows you the opportunity to postpone the consumption and earn interest. So here are the example of interest. Here are the types of interest. One is the simple interest. This is a very most common and useful technique in the interest. In this interest paid, borrower will pay the interest, or and lender will earn the interest on money. So interest paid are earned on only the original amount or principal borrowed land. So simple interest is a most common and simple form interest in which you earn the interest payment just on your principal amount. You charge the interest amount on just the principal amount, but you don't charge any kind of amount on the interest earned. So let's suppose here is the example and illustration. Maybe it give you more clarification. Year one is equal to, let's suppose I did $100 deposits in the bank. I invested $100 at the interest rate of 5%. So after 1 year end, I will get $5 is my interest revenue and 100 is my principal amount. I will get total $105 at the year end. In the second year, I again $5 is my interest of the second year, and 105 is my principal amount of the last year. So total I will get $10, so on. If we see at the after 5 years, I will get total amount $125. And maybe you observe one thing here, that is your interest amount is similar over the 5 years. This is not going to be changed. So in simple interest, your interest has been charged on your just principal amount. It is not charged on your interest amount, the interest amount which you earn. That's why this technique is more favorable and give more benefits to the borrower. And if the other type is compound interest, we also know as compounding interest. This technique is very favorable for the lender because it gives more revenue, more interest payment as comparative to the simple interest payment. So compound interest paid earned on any previous interest earned as well as on the principal amount as well. So in this interest type, you earn the interest on two amounts. First one is principal, and the other one is the interest amount which you earn. You also charge the interest on that amount as well. So here is the illustration. Maybe you can understand very well. Year one, that is 5% of $100. I deposited $100 in the bank, and I am taking the 5% interest on it. So year end, I will get $105. In year two, uh, now I am calculating my interest amount on my principal amount which I earned in the previous year, and in that $5 is my interest earning, and $100 is my principal amount. So total interest payment of my second year, that is 5.25 and 105 previous year. So in the second year, and I will get 110.25. So in the third year, I will again charge total percentage on 110.25, and my third year interest payment will be 5.51, and total amount will be 115. So after 5 years, the total amount which I will get from in the compounding interest, that is $127.63. So I will get more as comparative to the simple interest payment structure. That's why most of the time lender prefer on compounding interest because they are getting more as comparative to the other technique. Secondly, the why we get more in this payment in this structure, because we are charging the interest also on the interest payments as well. So here is also a graphical representation why compound interest is good for the lender and why we need to go on the interest compounding interest if we are lending the money, if we are giving the money to someone. So here is the graphical representation. Future value of a single 1,000 deposit. Let's suppose if we deposit 1,000 in the bank for the 30 years. So in different interest structure, how we will earn the money. So here is the yellow color represented the simple interest, and the simple interest percentage is 10%, and blue color is representing 7% compound interest, and compound interest rate is 7%. And the third one, maroon color, a red color is representing 10%, representing compound interest at the 10%. So how the different interest structure will affect your investment plan over the time period, so we will see in the graphical representation. In the first year, in all techniques, your return will be the same, and in 10th year, your compounding interest will be slightly higher as comparative to the two other techniques. And if we see in the 20th year, there is a visible difference between a compounding interest and the simple interest. Simple interest is just like around about 5,000, below the 5,000, and your compound 10% compounding interest is higher, and it is more than 5,000 value. And if we see in the last year, that is 30th year, there is a visible big difference between the all techniques, and we can see and we can draw conclusion from here is that your compounding interest give you a much bigger volume of return as comparative to the simple interest, although the both have the similar interest rate, but in compounding interest you are earning higher return. And secondly, the second conclusion is here, that is Even 10% is a good number in looking like you are getting high percentage of interest. But when you are just changing the technique in compounding interest, your interest percentage is low, but still over the time period in compound interest you are earning high as comparative to simple interest. So whenever you do a investment, you give a financing to someone, you always go on the compounding interest, although their percentage is little bit low to the simple interest, it's okay. Over the longer time period, if your investment is long term, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, your compounding interest gives you more benefit as comparative to simple interest. So you must go on the compounding interest as comparative to the simple interest when you have a long term interest. So here we draw a conclusion and we learn about how we what types of the interest rates and what are the techniques and types of interest rate, and we learn how we can calculate the interest rate and which one is better for the lender. So in the second part of presentation, we will learn how we can calculate future value with the simple interest and the compound interest. So let's suppose if I am investing something today, so I must be interested to know what I will get after a certain time period, and that what I will get in the future, that is called basically future value of your investment. And every businessman, every investor is interested to know what he will get after a certain time period. So how we will calculate with both techniques. The first one is simple one and the other one is compound interest. So in simple interest formula, SI is equal to P naught into I into N. P naught is basically SI is your simple interest, P naught is your deposit today, basically which are you depositing in the bank, you are giving someone. uh, P naught is representing zero, basically representing today where your N is zero. So I is representing interest rate which which you will get over your investment, and is your number of time period. So this is basically a general basic equation to calculate the simple interest. So here is the a problem through which we can understand how we can calculate the simple interest and the future value with simple interest method. Assume that you deposit 1,000 in an account earning 7% simple interest for the 2 years. What is the accumulated interest at the end of the second year? So here we find the data. We deposit $1,000 today. P naught of our data is 1,000 at the interest rate. I is 7% for the time period of 2 years, N is 2 years. So what is the total amount accumulated is basically your total amount of interest which will you get after the 2 years. So we simply put the value in our equation, that is SI is equal to P naught into I into N. P naught is my 1,000, I is 7%, and N is 2 years. So after 2 years, the total interest payment on my principal amount I will get, that is $140. $140 I will get after 2 years. So what will be the future value of my total investment which I am depositing the 1,000 today? So after 2 years, how much I will get? What is the future value of the deposit? That is FV is equal to P naught plus SI. P naught, I that this is my principal amount deposit of today 1,000 plus 140 is my principal simple interest which I will get. So after 2 years, the total future value of my investment will be 100, 1140 $1,140. So after 2 years, this will be I get of this total amount I will get in future. So what is future value? Future value is basically is the investment. It is the total amount of money which you get after a certain time period, after a specific time period in future. So future value we can also define here. Future value is the value at some future time of present amount of money or a series of payment evaluated at a given interest rate. So basically, future value is the amount which you get in the future on the investment of present value. Like if you invest something today, so what you will get after certain time period, that is called future value. So what is the present value, simple, what is the present value of the previous problem. So in our previous example, what is the present value? Present value is 1000. Why present value is 1000? This is basically 1000 which we are investing today. So this is the present value, and against 1000, what we will get after 2 years, we will get $1140. That is our future value. So the previous problem, present value, the present value is simply the 1000 you originally deposited, that is the value today. So present value is the current value of a future amount of money or a series of payments evaluated at a given interest. So your current deposit, your current investment which you are investing today, that is your present value of investment. So here is the future value single deposit. Here is the example. In previous example, we learned how we can calculate the future value of our investment with simple interest technique. So now we will learn how we can calculate the future value of our investment with compound interesting. So compounding interest, how we can calculate the future value by using compounding interest. So assume that you deposit $1,000 at a compound interest rate of 7% for 2 years. So here is my time period is zero, and I am investing $1,000 at the percentage at the interest rate of 7% in 2 years. So how much be total value after 2 years? What will be the future value of my investment by using compound interest? So here is the general formula which we use for the compound interest. For the future value in compound interest, FV is future value and is representing the time, is equal to P naught is your deposit of today, and into 1 plus I is your interest payment, e power n is your time period. This is the general formula which you can use manually to calculate the future value of your investment. Here is the FVN is equal to P naught into FVIF into IN. See the table. Basically, you can also find see the value of your investment with the table, with the support of table. I will show you in the Google how you can check the value from table as well. So here is the FB2. 2 is our time period of investment is 2 years, is equal to P naught into 1 plus I to power 2 is equal to 1000 is my principal amount which I'm depositing. 1 is 1.07 to power 2 total amount. What I getting, that is 1144.90. So one thing you maybe observe here, that is with compounding interest you are earning more as comparative with the simple interest. In simple interest, with the same amounts you are getting just 1140, but with the compounding interest you are getting 1144.90. You earn an extra amount 4.90 in year two with compound over simple interest. So that's why most of the time investor and the lender prefer the compounding interest, because they are higher as comparative to the simple interest. So here is the valuation table which we use for the finding the value of our investment in future. So on the vertical side there is a time period 1, 2, 3, 4 years. This is your investment time period. On the horizontal side there is a percentage 6, 7%. So in our problem, the time period was 2 and the percentage was 7. So in I will see this value. So in according to the table, my value is 1.145. So this is the way, and I can also show you how you can see this value in the table. So you simply go in Google and you simply write here the future value table, and you will see this image, and you simply click on it to make it like it clear. And in bigger size, here is on vertical side there is a time period, on horizontal side there is a percentage. So in our investment plan, interest is 7% and time period is 2%. So here is our value, that is 1.1449. So I round about it 1.145. So this is our value from the table. So this is similar to the value which we here is showing 1.145, and here is also 1.145. So this way you can find the value from the table. So when we put these value into the formula, FV2 is equal to $1,000 into FVIF, 7%, 2%, 1,000 is my investment, 1.145 is the table. So when I do around about total amount, I am getting 1145. That is similar to the journal formula technique as well. So you can any technique for the calculation of future value of your investment. Both techniques will give you similar results. So this is almost similar 1145. So story problem calculation based on in the journal formula. So here is basically just we will this was how we can find out in previous example we just learn about how we can find out the simple how we can find out the future value of our investment. So now we will learn about how we can find out the present value of the investment. So here is we can how we can calculate the present value with the discount rate. In the previous technique, we learned how we can find out the future value of our investment, which are we are investing today. Now we will learn how I can calculate my future investments to present value. How I can convert my future value of project into present value. So this technique is very useful in the real life as well, and most of the time people plan their future amount which they need to the in future. Let's suppose we take an example here. Assume that you need 1,000 in 2 years. Let's suppose we are in 2020 and we need $1,000 in 2022. So what should I need to plan? And let's suppose I need $1,000 in 2022. How much the amount I need to deposit today so I can get $1,000 in 2022? And this technique is also very useful in the real life because most of the time individuals and the company need the cash after certain time period. So they make a plan like in education life when the kids students went in the university life they need to pay more tuition fees. So their parents like do a plan by using this technique. So assume that you need $1,000 in 2 years, and what the deposit you need to do today so you can get 1,000 in 2022. So let's examine the process to determine how much you need to deposit today at a discount rate of 7% compounded annually. So here is my time period. I am here today, and the bank and any institution offering me 7% interest, and I need to get 1,000 after 2 years. I need 1,000 after 2 years. How much the amount I need to deposit today so I can get 1,000 after a certain time period. So here is the journal present value formula which we can use to calculate the present value of our future amount. PV is equal to FV. PV node is representing today and FV future value of n time period, 2 years, 4 years. It's up to you, and divided by 1 plus I power n. Or PV node is equal to FVN into PVIF. So here is also a table we can see the values from table as well. So first we use the journal present value formula. So here is the story problem practice. Julie Miller wants to know how large her deposit of 10,000 today will become at a compound annual interest rate of 10% for 5 years. So let's suppose Millie Jeweler wants to know how large her deposit of 10,000 today will become at a compound annual interest rate of 10,000 per year. Sorry, basically, this slide is relevant to back previous technique. We will just cut it and we will use here. Yes. So here we will learn. I need to know. I want to get 1,000 after 2 years. How much amount I need to invest today? So PV naught is equal to FV2 divided by 1 plus I power 2. So it is equal to 1,000 divided by 1 0.07 to power 2. So if I am interested to get $1,000 after 2 years, I need to deposit $873.44 today. So this way, this is the present value of my future amount 1,000, which I need 2 years after 2 years. So if I want to take a $1,000 after 2 years, so I need to deposit $873 today. So here is PV is also found in the table as well as like the future table. Here is also a table on the vertical side. There is a time period, on the horizontal side is the interest rate, and the our investment plan is for 2 years at 7%. So our value is $8.73. So here is our basically my presentation slide is also converting into this. So here is my value, that is 8.873. I can also see check from the Google as well. Simply you will go in the Google and you will write down the present value table, and in present value table you will just find this image, and I open it, and in present value my 7% is the interest rate, and the time period is 2, and the value we can see here is 0.873. So in my table as well the value is 0.873. So this way you can check the present value from table, and we find same value as compared with the general formula. We need to invest 873 today if we are interested to get $1,000 after 2 years. So both techniques giving almost the same result. So you can use any technique for calculation of the present value of your investment. So here is another an example of the problem, that is Julie Miller wants to know how large of deposit to make so that the money will grow to 10,000 in 5 years at a discount rate of 10%. So basically, here is the problem, and it is explaining that Julie Miller wants $10,000 after 5 years, and the discount rate. What is discount rate? When we convert future value into convert present value, that rate is known as discount rate. And because we are converting future amount into current amount, that's why we call it discount rate. So Julie Miller wants 10,000 after 5 years, and the interest rate is 10%. So how much the Julie Miller need to deposit today so he can get 10,000 after 5 years? So we can find out from the formula. PV is equal to FV into N divided by 1 plus I to power N. 10,000 is my future value which I want, and 1 plus 0.10 is my interest rate for the 5 years. So Jolie Miller need to deposit $6,209 today if he is interested to earn, if he is interested to get 10,000 after 5 years. So this way we can convert the future values of our project into the present value, and we can know what is the present value of my future project. And similar result we also get from the table calculation based on the table, and the table is giving the results as 6,210, and the general formula is $6,209. So almost both are the similar. So we can use any technique for the calculation of present value of our future investment. So it was all about the time value of money. In this lecture we learned about the what is time value of money, what is interest rate, what are the types of interest rate, in which we learn simple interest rate, compound interest rate. Then we draw a conclusion which one is better for the lender. After that we learn how we can find out the future value of our investment with the simple interest technique and with the compounding interest technique. And after that we learn how we can convert our future values into current values with the help of discount rate, and what we need to deposit today if we need certain amounts in the future. So it was all about the time value of money. Thank you so much for watching my videos. So we will cover the part 2 of this video with annuities. If you are interested to learn more about the annuities, you watch the part 2. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay happy. Stay blessed.